Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson just received some welcome news from the Federal Election Commission. Johnson's campaign will receive over $130,000 in new federal matching funds. That is on top of the $100,000 the campaign received in May after first becoming eligible for funding. So where are those dollars coming from, by the way? You, the taxpayer, courtesy of the $3 checkoff on your income tax return. Joining me now is former New Mexico governor and Libertarian nominee for president, Gary Johnson. Always good to see you. Thank you for joining me.
Alex, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I'm glad you're here. Look, it's no doubt here this money's going to come in handy for you. But when you compare this to the Mitt Romney vast sums of money, the GOP's $100 million take in June, you simply can't put up a real fight. Is your goal here to act as a spoiler of sorts, looking back to the Ross Perot era 20 years ago right now, and try to take votes away from President Obama or Mitt Romney?
Well, the goal here is to actually win. The goal here is to actually offer a third choice, and that third choice is the candidate that's going to promise to submit a balanced budget to Congress. That would be me. Look, I'm the guy when it comes to civil liberties. I'm the guy that wants to end our military interventions. I think that's a clear third choice. So, Alex, I'm actually in this to win, and I'm really heartened by the fact that with our fractions of a penny relative to their dollars, you know what? This is turning out to be credible. I think it will turn out to be credible.
Okay, and I'm glad to hear you say that, and that doesn't surprise me as I've gotten to know you over these past months, in particular talking about this, but how disheartened are you that people like me come in and state what may be on the minds of many, that this is a third-party candidate, certainly, but that you don't have a shot at winning?
Well, not disheartened at all. I mean, for you to say anything other than, look, I have no shot at winning, you'd just be looking at history and what you think the reality is. But I do think that Americans are hungry for a real live choice. You know, we look at this jobs data report. I'm the guy that wants to throw out. Well, you know what? I don't even want to label it. I think we need to throw out the income tax, corporate tax, replace it with a national consumption tax. In this case, the FairTax, which abolishes the IRS. I think if in a zero corporate tax rate environment, the private sector doesn't create tens of millions of jobs, I don't know what it'll take to create tens of millions of jobs. So I'm just back to the fact that there really is a third choice. It's me, and it's not a compromise at all. It's voting your conscience and voting a real future for America. Now, that's my pitch.
All right. I want to ask you honestly, do you think that President Obama or any president really has the power to single-handedly turn around the economy, or is that just election year noise?
No, I think that the President of the United States has the opportunity to lead. Now, anything that the President leads with, of course, Congress has to go along with. But in this case, I'm advocating throwing out the IRS. I'm advocating throwing out income tax, corporate tax. No more tax withholdings from your payroll check. Replace it with the FairTax. For those watching, check out fairtax.org. I really think it reboots the American economy. So I think what the President can and needs to provide is leadership. The whole notion that here are my beliefs, I'm running for President of the United States, elect me, and you can count on somebody that's doggedly going to pursue this agenda that I'm talking about. And in this case, balance the federal budget, civil liberties are really important, and let's stop with our military interventions.
How about health care? Because you've not been on the show since the Supreme Court announced that it was upholding the health care law. In a statement, in fact, you called it an incredible blow to our bedrock principles of freedom and liberty. As you know, Gary, this is a nation with millions of uninsured people. Isn't it an acknowledgement that something had to be done?
Well, sure. These issues, I think, could have been addressed. I think they could have been addressed in a real free market way. And I would like to point out that health care in this country is about as far removed from free market as it possibly can be. And who's the brunt of this? Where's the brunt of this going to fall on? Whose shoulders financially is this going to fall on? I think it's going to be young people. The notion that this is a plan that relies on healthy people basically paying or subsidizing those that aren't so healthy. So where does that burden fall? As a group, it falls on young people, and right now young people are also being given the burden of the fact that, hey, I'm going to retire and I've got health care, but by the way, you as a young person, you're never going to retire. You're going to have to pay this back, and you're never going to be able to stop working because you're never going to be able to pay it back.
But you know, when we get to the individual mandate, there are those who would suggest that if you pay into it, you're going to be more responsible of it. And to that end, I put this example. What about those that go to the emergency room at the hospital? They don't pay anything, but now they will finally pay up via their individual responsibility to it all. Doesn't that make sense?
That absolutely makes sense. I mean, this is in the whole notion of free market. And in a free market system for health care, I would not have insurance to cover myself for ongoing needs. I would pay as you go in a system that was really competitive, that had advertised pricing. I would have insurance to cover myself for catastrophic injury or illness. So when you look forward, when you look at what can be done at this point, you know, there are some reforms to this legislation that could just say, mandate insurance, not what kind of insurance you have to have. And that would open this up, like I say, to me being able to have catastrophic injury and illness insurance as opposed to insurance that I haven't been to a doctor in 5 years. And yet I pay $600 a month for insurance.
Well, let's hope that's because you're very healthy, though, in terms of not having gone to the doctor.
No,
well, I'm glad for that.
That's the reason.
Very good. All right, well, look forward to more conversations with you between now and November. Meantime, Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson, good to see you. Thank you.
Alex, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.